Hey, this is Matt with Pro Athlete Advantage, and for this week's vlog, I want to talk to you about this fear of failure, this fear of screwing up, of looking bad, of what people might say if we're not successful in whatever we're trying to achieve. We all have experienced that in the past. I'm sure you have. I know I certainly have. But what I've learned is that if we're not careful with our thoughts and with the words that we speak and with our approach to this fear of failure, it can truly hold us back from living the life we want to live, from reaching our potential, for succeeding in areas that we are passionate about and that we want in our life. Now, as you know, I played baseball for a fairly long time in my life. And what some people know is that, and what I want to share with you today is that is a game based on failure. If you are only successful 30% of the time, which means you fail 70% of the time, you are considered a very good hitter in the game of baseball. So that means I only have to get a hit 3 out of every 10 attempts, and I am considered an elite hitter. That is amazing, isn't it? A game based on failure. I can't think of many sports that are based on a similar level of screwing up and not being successful. And you can still, if you reach the major league levels, make pretty good money for it. Now, when I think back to my high school days collegiately in the Bundesliga over in Austria, and I think about failure and how I approached it, early on in my career, I had some thoughts and used some words that were very detrimental to my performance. A lot of the times, you might not hear me say it because it was rolling around in my head, is when I would step up to the plate, my thought was, don't screw up. Don't strike out. Don't make a fool of yourself here. Don't. I was already anticipating that I would fail in that situation. And internally, I started putting pressure on myself based on this fake event that hadn't happened yet, but I guess it was a possibility. I started putting pressure on myself not to screw up, not to look bad in front of those fans that were watching that game. That word, don't, or do not, is really concerning when you're saying that to yourself. Because what happened was that, like I said, I'm setting myself up for success. And when I stepped up to the plate, my muscles, everything was tense in my batting stance. Because I was trying to avoid something instead of attacking it a different way. You might have similar thoughts or words that you use now or you've used in the past. Right? Don't look bad. Don't mess up that project. I'm sure you can think of some of those words yourself. But I want to shift your thinking a little bit with this. I want you to start understanding that you have the power to control your thoughts. You can shift from don't to do. You can take something you're trying to avoid and turn it into something that you are going to attack and go make a difference with. That's where I want you to focus. What I learned over time as I progressed through the ranks is that phrase, don't strike out, I started to shift. And I moved into go get a hit. Do get a hit. Make the difference you were put here to make. Go help your team. I changed it from something passive and something I was trying to avoid into something active that I could go after and give my best effort towards. When I walked up to the plate to hit and I had that attitude of, I'm going to make a difference today. This guy doesn't know what's coming. I'm going to get a pitch and I'm going to drive it into the outfield. That is when I was successful, even in a game based on failure. So your exercise, your challenge that I want you to take from here on out is to become, first of all, aware of those don't statements that you're using. What fears are you coming up against where you're using don't and then fill in the blank? And I want you to write those down, and I want you to immediately figure something out that you can offset it with. Instead of don't, you're going to do this. Instead of do not, you're going to do this. Start rewiring your brain. By doing this, you are creating different pathways in your brain. You are physically changing yourself. And instead of fearing failure, we're going to position ourselves to be unbelievably successful, active, moving towards our goal, not away from it. Go attack it. Change those thoughts, change those words, and as always, don't hold back.